Hello students, in today's lecture we will discuss the next part of the microbes in production of the biogas. So here you can observe the diagram of the typical biogas plant, and in this here the different names are given in the figure. That is, the main container is there, that is called as a digester. Inside the digester there is a gas holder. Mainly CH4 and CO2 gas are produced in that gas holder. Then to this digester one pipe is attached which carries the dung mixed in water. Then another side digester is also connected to the sludge, and there is a outlet given out from this gas holder which carries the gases. So this is the biogas plant. We have already discussed this for our state board syllabus. Now we will discuss the next part from the NCERT, that is, a floating cover is placed over the slurry which keeps on rising as the gas is produced in the tank due to the microbial activity. So on this slurry means we have seen that when dung is mixed with water we call it as a slurry. So this slurry have the cover which is not tight one, it is a floating one, because this cover allows the rising of the gas in the tank due to the microbial activity, because in that tank different gases, mainly methane, CO2, hydrogen sulfide and other gases are produced, and these gases are continuously comes out. So this slurry is not get packed, it is covered by the floating covering, and here you can observe that the microbial activity carries out the gas formation in that digester. The biogas plant has an outlet which is connected to a pipe to supply biogas to nearby houses. Here you can observe that from this gas holder there is a outlet which carries the gas, and such a pipe is connected to nearby houses. Means if it is in our home, then it is get connected to our we can say in the kitchen for supplying the gas to our kitchen preparation. Okay, so this is connected to our nearby houses, or in our house it is connected to our kitchen. The spent slurry is removed through another outlet and may be used as a fertilizer. And slurry, the spent slurry means the slurry which is not used, or the slurry which is waste one, that is removed through another outlet and may be used as a fertilizer. So that slurry is not carried out in this digester, that is waste slurry is removed, and that slurry is called as the spent slurry, and it is used as a fertilizer. Here question may be asked that what is meant by spent slurry. Spent slurry means the slurry which is already used for the biogas production, and the non-usable or the waste slurry is called as a spent slurry. Now next point is, cattle dung is available in a large quantity in rural areas where cattle are used for a variety of purposes. So here you can observe that in the rural area particularly for the farmer, cattle dung is easily available, and that's why for the biogas production in that area that dung is used. So biogas plants are more often built in rural areas because this dung, which is a raw material for biogas production, can be easily available in the rural area. That's why it is largely can observe in the rural areas only. The biogas thus produced is used for cooking and lighting. So in the rural areas particularly this biogas is used for the food preparation in the kitchen, that is for the cooking and for the lighting in the house. The picture of biogas plant is shown in figure 10.8. So we have seen that picture. The technology of biogas production was developed in India mainly due to the efforts of Indian Agriculture Research Institute and Khadi and Village Industries Commission. So these 2 points are very important. See here, technology of biogas production was developed in India. Who developed this technology of biogas production in India? Due to the efforts of Indian Agriculture Research Institute. In short, it is called as IARI, and Khadi and Village Industries Commission, KVIC. So you have to remember the IAR and KVIC. These are the two organizations which has taken the efforts for development of this biogas production in particularly India. If your school is situated in a village or near a village, it would be very interesting to enquire if there are any biogas plant nearby. आणि जर आपल्याला रिअल मध्ये बायोगॅस प्लांटेशन ऑब्झर्व करायचं असेल, तुम्ही विलेजमध्ये असाल, विलेजच्या शेजारी असाल, तर तुम्ही इझिली पाहू शकता. विजिट द बायोगॅस प्लांट अँड लर्न मोर अबाउट इट फ्रॉम द पीपल हू आर ॲक्च्युली मॅनेजिंग इट. आणि ॲक्च्युली ज्यांच्याकडे आहे, जे त्याचं मॅनेजमेंट करतात, ज्याचा वापर करतात, त्यांच्याकडून आपण ह्याच्याबद्दल बरीच माहिती घेऊ शकतो. सो ऑल दिस इज अबाउट दी बायोगॅस प्लांट. ओके, in the last lecture we will discuss the MCQs for this biogas production. Here we have completed this biogas or role of microbes in the biogas production. Now the next part is microbes as biocontrol agent. So in this chapter we have seen the role of microbes in the various fields. Now we will discuss how these microbes are used for controlling the another organisms, particularly the pest in the field which damage the crops. So see here, microbes as a biocontrol agent. Biocontrol refers to use of biological methods for controlling plant diseases and pests. So by using biological method, by using the live organism, we can control the diseases on the plant as well as the pest of the field which particularly damage the plant. In modern society, these problems have been tackled increasingly by the use of chemical, by use of insecticide and the pesticide. So up to this we are using the insecticide, means the chemical which kills the insect, or pesticide, that means chemical which kill the pests. But there are some drawbacks of these chemicals, that is, these chemicals are toxic and extremely harmful. But this chemical which we use in the form of insecticide and the pesticide, when we apply it on our field, it is very toxic one, and it is harmful to human being and animal alike, and have been polluting our environment, particularly soil, ground, water, fruit, vegetables and crop plant. So see here, there are a variety of, or sorry, we can say that there are very hazardous effects of these chemicals on our surrounding, because they are not only toxic to the human being, but also the animals like us also get damaged by these chemicals, as well as it causes the pollution of environment, that is soil pollution, ground pollution, underground water pollution, maybe due to these chemicals, as well as it also damage the fruits, vegetables and crop plant. So our soil is also polluted through our use of weedicide to remove weeds, and when we apply it on the crop, it get mixed in the soil, and when we use it for removing the weeds, so it is called as weedicide, it also damage our soil because it percolate through the soil in the underground part, and there is underground water is also get polluted due to this chemical. So these chemicals are very hazardous to the life of the human being. The next point is that biological control of pests and diseases. So now we'll see how we can use the live organism for control of the pest and various types of diseases on the plants. In agriculture, there is a method of controlling pest that relies on natural predation rather than introduce chemical. So now in agriculture, what can observe that the pest can be controlled on the basis of natural predation. Natural predation means what? As we know in nature, there is always a relationship in between prey and predator. That means prey, that the animal which can be eaten, and predator, that means animal which can eat the prey. ओके, इन मराठी वी कॅन से दॅट, म्हणजे प्रत्येक ॲनिमलला खाणारा जो दुसरा ॲनिमल आहे त्याला आपण म्हणतो प्रिडेटर, आणि जो ॲनिमल खाल्ला जातो त्याला आपण म्हणतो प्रे. सो प्रिडेटर मेथड कॅन बी यूज हिअर. अ की बिलीफ ऑफ द ऑर्गॅनिक फार्मर इज दॅट बायोडायव्हर्सिटी फर्दर्स हेल्थ. म्हणजे इथं काय आपल्याला सांगितलेलं आहे की इफ देर इज अ वन पेस्ट इन द ॲग्रिकल्चर, सो वी हॅव टू फाउंड दॅट विच प्रिडेटर इट दॅट प्रे. आणि त्यामुळं शेतामधल्या पेस्टला खाणारा जो तुझा प्रिडेटर आहे तो जर नॅचरली आपण फील्डमध्ये इम्प्लांट केला तर आपल्याला काय पाहायला मिळतं, वी कॅन कंट्रोल दी प्रे पॉप्युलेशन or the pest population. A key of the organic farmer is that biodiversity furthers health. Organic farmers means the use of the biological methods. There we can keep our health good because the more variety a landscape has, the more sustainable it is. And that's why we can say that the organic farmer therefore works to create a system where insects that are sometimes called pests are not eradicated but instead are kept at manageable level by complex system of checks and balances within a living and vibrant ecosystem. So here the important part is that we are not removing that pest from our field completely, but its population is kept at the level which cannot damage our crops. Contrary to the conventional farming practices which often use chemical method to kill both useful. Contrary means opposite to the chemical method which kills not only pest but also useful organism. This method of biological control kill both. So we have seen that chemical method kills both useful as well as harmful pest or organism, but this method kills only the pest or maintain the lower population of that pest. So the chemical method kills both the useful and harmful life forms indiscriminately. This is a holistic approach that seeks to develop an understanding of the webs of interaction between the myriad of organisms that constitute the field fauna and flora. So this line states that these chemical kill both useful and harmful life forms, and due to which there is a interaction between the myriad of organisms that constitute the field fauna and the flora, and thus fauna means the animals and flora means the plant. So naturally these plants and animals get damaged by this type of the chemicals. Next line, the organic farmer hold the view that eradication of the creature that are often described as pest is not only possible but also undesirable, for without them the beneficial predatory and parasitic insect which depend upon them as food or host would not be able to survive. And it also says that this method, that means particularly organic farming biological methods, is useful because it remove the predators, it remove the prey, not predators, by the from the field by the use of predator as well as parasitic insects are also removed from the field. Thus, the use of biocontrol measures will greatly reduce our dependence on toxic chemicals and pesticides, and thus the biocontrol measure reduces our dependence on the chemical and pesticides, chemical methods which control the pest, that is called as a pesticide, because it has very hazardous effects on the plant. That's why they are not used now. An important part of the biological farming approach is to become familiar with the various life forms that inhabit the field, predators as well as the pest, and also their life cycle, pattern of feeding, and the habitat that they prepare. So here important point of the biological farming is that the various life forms which are present in the field, predator as well as the pest which are present in the field, we should know their life cycle, their pattern of feeding, and the habitat they prepare. For the biocontrol of this organism, we have to know the all the information about these organisms which damage the crop, that means their life cycle, which food they eat, where they present, that means their habitat. All this information you need for its controlling. This will help develop appropriate means of biocontrol, and that's why we can easily control this pest from our field. The very familiar beetle with red and black marking. Now concentrate on this paragraph because there are some examples are given for the biocontrol of this pest. So familiar beetle with red and black marking, the ladybird and dragonflies are useful to get rid of aphids and mosquito. So these aphids which are the pest on the field, and the mosquitoes which are generally the pest, we can say it is generally found in our house. So these two insects can be controlled by the beetle which has red and black markings on its body, and the name of that beetle is called as ladybird. So ladybird control the aphids and dragonflies control the mosquitoes. So it is very important. Ladybird controls the aphids and the dragonfly control the mosquitoes. Now, the example of microbial biocontrol agent that can be introduced in order to control butterfly caterpillars is the bacteria Bacillus thuringiensis. In short, it is called as BT. So, here the butterfly caterpillars, आळी म्हणतो आपण कॅटरपिलरला, बटरफ्लाय फ्लायच्या कॅटरपिलर्स हे मेनली कोण कंट्रोल करतं, वन ऑफ द बॅक्टेरिया, अँड द नेम ऑफ दॅट बॅक्टेरिया इज बॅसिलस thuringiensis. These are available in sachets as dried spore which are mixed with water and spread onto vulnerable plants such as brassica and fruit trees, where these are eaten by the insect larvae. So here this Bacillus thuringiensis control the caterpillars of the butterfly as well as their powder in the form of dried spore is applied on the plants like the brassicas and the fruit trees, because on these plants there is a pest which can be killed by this Bacillus thuringiensis. In the gut of the larvae, the toxin in the gut of the larvae, the toxin is released and the larvae get killed. So if the insects inject, if the insect take or ingest this Bacillus thuringiensis powder in the larvae's gut, toxin gets released and larvae get killed. Thus, the bacterial disease will kill the caterpillar but leave other insect unharmed. So, if farmer have to remove only the caterpillar of the butterfly, then this Bacillus thuringiensis powder only kills caterpillar but do not harm the other insect in the field, because they may be important for the field as for the pollination or for other purposes. Because of the development of methods of genetic engineering in the last decade, also scientists have introduced Bacillus thuringiensis toxins, Bacillus thuringiensis toxin genes into plant. So here, due to the genetic engineering, now it is possible that to identify a particular genes from that bacteria, Bacillus thuringiensis, and by identifying gene, we can easily observe that which gene produce this toxin, and so now that gene has isolated multiple copies of that gene from the Bacillus thuringiensis is made, and that gene is directly introduced into particular plant. So here such plants are resistant to attack by insect pest, and if we insert the gene from the Bacillus thuringiensis into the plant, then any pest if attack on that plant secrete a secretion, and that secretion immediately kills that particular pest. So nowadays a variety of genes are isolated from this Bacillus thuringiensis, which are particularly responsible for the production of the toxin, and that gene get inserted into the plant, and that's why that plant is resistant to attack of the insect pest. So on this plant particularly which has the gene from the Bacillus thuringiensis, do not attack any pest because it has a gene from the Bacillus thuringiensis. Now see here, BT cotton is one such example which is being cultivated in some states of our country. The cotton variety which has the gene of Bacillus thuringiensis is called as the BT cotton, is cultivated in some state of our country, and such a cotton variety is resistant to the pest. Any pest do not damage this cotton variety because it has gene from the Bacillus thuringiensis. That's why it is called as the BT cotton. A biological control being developed for use in the treatment of plant diseases is the fungus Trichoderma. Trichoderma species are free-living fungi that are very common in the roots ecosystem. They are effective biocontrol agent of several plant pathogens. So here Trichoderma is the name of the fungi which is free-living, and it is found in the root of the higher plants, so it is called as the root ecosystem, and it also controls the several plant pathogens because the number of plant pathogens which are present in the soil, they are near the roots of the plant, and this plant pathogen can be controlled by this Trichoderma. Next, the baculoviruses are pathogens that attack insect and other arthropods. So baculovirus is the class of the virus which are the pathogens that attack the insect and other arthropods. They particularly attacks on the insect which are present on our field, and arthropods. Arthropods means the phylum Arthropoda, and the number of insects are comes under this arthropoda. So arthropoda and other insects of the field get controlled by this baculoviruses, which is also one of the pathogen. The majority of baculovirus used as a biocontrol agents are in the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. So the genus name is Nucleopolyhedrovirus. From the genus Nucleopolyhedrus, here this baculovirus is there, and it is used as a biocontrol agent. These viruses are excellent candidates for species-specific narrow spectrum insecticidal application. So the important thing of this baculovirus is that when we apply it on our field, it only kills the insects and arthropods only. So it is called as the species specific, and it has narrow spectrum insecticidal application. They have been shown to have no negative impact on plant, mammal, bird, fish, or even on the target insect. So they do not have other impact or effects on the plant, mammal, bird, fish, or even on target insect. So all such organisms are not killed or damaged by these viruses. This is especially desirable when beneficial insects are being conserved to aid in an overall integrated pest management program or when an ecologically sensitive area is being treated. So these baculovirus are important when the beneficial insects means there are variety of insects are present in the field which are useful as a pollinator, and such a insect can be preserved as it is or can be maintained as it is when we use this baculovirus, because they do not harm other insect which are not pathogenic to the plant. So here we have seen this role of microbe as a biocontrol agent. Now the next part is the microbes as a biofertilizer. See here, from this paragraph you have to remember the examples, like for example we have seen the ladybird, beetle and dragonfly, then Bacillus thuringiensis, bt cotton, baculoviruses, trichoderma species. So there will be question asked on particular these examples. Now the last part of this topic is microbes as biofertilizers. With our present day lifestyles, environmental pollution is major cause of concern. The use of chemical fertilizer to meet ever increasing demand of agriculture produce has contributed significantly to this pollution. Of course, we have now realized that there are problems associated with the overuse of chemical fertilizer, and there is a large pressure to switch to organic farming, the use of biofertilizer. So this line again states that how the biofertilizer or the organic farming is important to avoid the drawbacks or side effects of the fertilizer. Biofertilizer are organisms that enrich the nutrient quality of the soil. The main sources of biofertilizers are bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria. For our state board we have discussed this, that is biofertilizers are the organisms which increase the nutrient quality of the soil. There are mainly bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria are used as a biofertilizer. We have studied that the roots of leguminous plant form by the symbiotic association of the rhizobium. So rhizobium is one of the bacteria which is always present in association with the roots of leguminous plant. So this bacteria fix atmospheric nitrogen into the organic forms which is used by the plant as a nutrients. Okay, so this is discussed in our state board syllabus. Other bacteria can fix atmospheric nitrogen which are free living, that is azospirillum and azotobacter. Okay student, we have seen in detail the role of rhizobium which is the symbiotic bacteria, as well as the role of the azospirillum and the azobacter as a nitrogen fixer which are the free living. Okay, so we are not wasting time here. Now we'll see the last part, that the fungi which also shows the symbiotic association with plant, it is also discussed, that is called as mycorrhiza. So genus, here the new point is that from NCERT, that is this fungi which we call as a mycorrhiza, it belongs to the genus Glomus. So the fungal symbiont in this association absorb phosphorus from soil and passes it to the plant. So the fungi which has association with the roots of the higher plant, these fungi absorb phosphorus from the soil and gives it to the plant. And plant such as association shows other benefits also, such as resistant to root-borne pathogen, tolerance to salinity and drought, and overall increase in plant growth and development. So these fungi which belong to the genus Glomus, which called as mycorrhiza, shows association with the roots of the plant. These fungi absorb phosphorus and gives it to soil, and the plant which has association of the fungi has also benefit that they are resistant to root-borne pathogen, means on such a plant the pathogens cannot affect generally which are present in the root part of that plant. This plant has a tolerance to salinity and drought condition, and overall that plant shows growth and development more than that of the normal plant. So this is very important for me point of view, that the name of the fungi, genus of the fungi, and the plant which has association of the fungi shows the benefits, which are the benefits that we have seen in this paragraph. The last part of this topic is that, or this part of the biofertilizer is that the cyanobacteria are autotrophic microbes, which also discuss this part in our state board syllabus. That is, these cyanobacteria are aquatic, terrestrial, and they also fix the atmospheric nitrogen. We have to remember the examples: Anabina, Nostoc, Oscillatoria. These are the blue-green algae or the cyanobacteria. They are generally used in paddy field. Cyanobacteria are important biofertilizer. Blue-green algae also add organic matter to the soil and increase the fertility. They not only fix atmospheric nitrogen, but by this fixation it can be available to the plant, so we can say that it can add the organic matter to the soil and increase its fertility. Currently in our country, a number of biofertilizers are available commercially in the market, and the farmer use these regularly in the field to replenish soil nutrient and to reduce dependence on the chemical fertilizer. So nowadays these biofertilizers are available in our country commercially, and we can use it. म्हणजे बाजारामध्ये आपल्याला याचं कल्चर मिळू शकतं, जे आपण शेतामध्ये यूज करू शकतो, अँड वी कॅन इनक्रीज आवर yield of the crop.